Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick. This is Ted. He's helping us out today. And we're talking about anchoring. All right? One thing with anchoring, if you were in a boat, you took an anchor and you threw it out of the boat, the anchor goes down. The anchor doesn't like fly sideways or something like that. It goes down. So when you anchor, you take your elbow and you try to drive it down into their spine or their belt. I always tell my students, try to take your elbow and put it in their belt, in the back of their belt here someplace. All right? And there's no gap. Now, a lot of times when I see people anchor, the wrong thing happens. So Ted, if you could turn around. When I see people doing an anchor, they'll come up, so for like grip of death. They'll snake their hand up, they'll grab the chin. See how my elbow's up here? And they pull back and turn. Well, if my elbow is going out that way, that's not the way anchors move. Anchors go down. So you want to take your forearm, okay, use their shoulder as a fulcrum. I grab the chin and I go down. And now you can see I'm trying to take my elbow straight down into Ted's belt. And he's going to drop down. So you're always taking this, trying to go into their belt. Now, if their belt's out in front of them like his just was a second ago, then that's fine. Just get it straight down, okay? But basically, don't pull back. If you pull back, you're just throwing the guy a different direction. Whichever way your elbow's pointing, if it's pointing down, he goes down. If it's pointing out, he goes out. So when we're anchoring, we're always shooting down. Let's take a look at a couple of techniques and see what they are. We'll take a look at grip of death and circling destruction, and we'll see what's going on with those two techniques. Now, if we're taking a look at grip of death, the guy, you're standing like this, the guy's coming up behind you and pulling you around in a circle, so he pulls you around this way, my hands come out, I do the double hammer, this hand slides up over the top of his head. Now normally I do like a claw grab, but I'm just going to grab his chin. You see how my elbow's up at this point? I take my elbow and I put my elbow straight down into his back. So don't move, Ted. My hand is just like this right back here. Now as I turn, I can actually get my palm driving straight through him. So you do your hit, slide up his back, go over the top of his head. That way he can't turn his head away from you. He doesn't know what's coming. If you try to snake your hand around this way, he might try to turn his head. So you go over the top of his head. I usually use more of a claw where the thumb hooks underneath the jaw. One of these two hits the philtrum. One of these two hits the eye. You just claw and crane down. But again, the elbow always goes straight down. And so on grip of death, that's what we're looking for as far as the crane goes. All right, now if we look at the first part of circling destruction, I'm going to do the anchor on the back of his head to really pull him down. So a little bit of a different version of it, but it's the same type of thing. So circling destruction against a shuffling left, he comes in, I hit him, I bend him over, I hit his face, and when I'm back here, you see how as I've got his head, I'm pulling down, and my anchor, again, is up, straight up and down as I got him, okay? And so when I'm pulling down like that, again, I'm not pulling him towards me. I just ram his head into my face, and we don't want that to happen. At least I don't. So make sure when you're doing the technique, oh, and you still need the fulcrum. Here, let's do it one more time. Let's go a little slower this time. So he throws the punch. I go wrist, elbow, body, which we've talked about before. This is just going to shoot to the face as I'm pushing. And what I want is, if I was here, do you see how this has no fulcrum? It's just on his arm. I want to make sure that I'm pushing his shoulder so that now I have the same fulcrum that I had when I was on this side. This is circling destruction. The other side over here was grip of death. We're doing it both ways. But I want to make sure I've got his shoulder in there. This also can act as third hand, so he can't throw a punch this way or that way. So when I'm pushing on the arm and I'm anchoring him down, we've got him. All right? So fun stuff to think about. So take a look at all the techniques that have different anchors in them, and remember, anchors go down, not to the side. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.